I believe that if we could all find our spark, the world could be ablaze with magic as opposed to fire. It's really on us to do that work and to figure out what that is. And I feel lucky that I've had that fire for a really long time. Hi, my name is Larissa May. I'm a digital wellness trailblazer, serial entrepreneur activist, and the founder of Half the Story, which is now almost 10 years old and was the first nonprofit brought to life to really empower the next generation's relationship with technology at scale and to make digital wellness accessible to every young person on the planet. I think I was born to solve really hard problems. And I think I could only be driven by something that really mattered and really challenging solutions. I wasn't able to put my energy and my focus in places that I didn't feel like really mattered, which it doesn't mean it doesn't matter. It just didn't matter to me. But I've always been really driven by social impact. I have been doing this work for 10 years, which is an entire decade, to kind of actually go back and sit with the amount of no's that I've received. Like now I believe that a no means a yes somewhere else, but I think there's just no way to really understand, to create something with the $250 grant in my dorm room to now be at a place where we've received some of our first $1 million grants. Like the world brings you darkness so that you can find your light, and we all have our light, but sometimes we have to be reminded of what that is to help others light up in the world. And that's really what my true purpose is, whether I'm a barista or on stage in front of 1,000 women. I hope that I can share my light so that others can see themselves in a brighter light than they did before. Mental health was just not something people talked about. I grew up in the Midwest. I mean, still, no one talked about mental health then. And even now, I think our world, because I work in a lot of rural communities and I work in the Midwest a lot too, mental health is not something that everyone understands. And that's why I love our work in digital wellness. When I was a sophomore in high school, I really struggled with my mental health. At that time, I think my parents and my family thought it was stress, but it was really depression. And because I wasn't treated for that depression and the ADHD that I was dealing with, it took me a lot longer to do things. It was just tough. I was struggling socially. I wasn't going out with my friends on the weekend. And to be honest with you, I would get so anxious that I would have to put ice cubes in my palms in order to just calm down and study. And that was really scary. I think the lesson early on was that success and struggle live hand in hand. And that's also the other half of the story. Every day there's a struggle that someone's going through. And if no one tells you about mental health, how are you supposed to know that you have a problem? I don't even know if the word depression was something that I used in my vocabulary. Tech is like a magnifying glass for our emotions. You know, when we feel good, we get that dopamine hit, we feel really good online. Digital wellness is actually more about us than screens. And digital wellness is an inside job. It's something that starts inside with your feelings and your emotions. And technology is really a symptom usually of what you're going through. When we feel bad and someone's mean to us and digitally punches us in the stomach, it hurts even more. And that's a really complicated thing about tech, but no one teaches you as a young person how to navigate your emotions in the place where the average American teenager will spend 30 years of their life. You know, I've been super lucky to have support in all forms, therapy, psychiatrist, but in my early 20s, I didn't have any of that. And it was really hard to afford that. And I think your mental health is not only about what you can do for yourself, but it's actually about getting support around you, not, as a system and a team, realizing that there are things in my life that I have to offload to support myself. But I'll also say that spirituality has become a really big part of my mental health journey, and meditation. And I have a mentor that and supporter and friend and all of the things that you could say that has really pushed me as a leader to invest in that part of my life, because that is the thing that is really going to hold court emotionally when everything is really chaotic. I was always a super nerd. I actually took my first ACT when I was in 6th grade. And from the time I was in kindergarten was on a fast track. My teachers kind of knew at that time that my brain was moving a lot faster and further ahead than they were anticipating. So I was really lucky to have people around me and parents that saw that as well. And while they didn't always know what to do with my eccentricity and creativity and drive and building businesses at the age of 10, they really always empowered me to be who I was and to succeed in every educational environment that I had. So I started, taking classes at community college in high school, and really just loved building and decided that it was time to leave the Midwest. And my dream school was Vanderbilt. So I decided to apply there early action and wrote handwritten letters to the admissions counselor from sophomore year through senior year and was lucky enough to get in. I did make up my own major there because I did not fit in that mold either. I think it's like in life, you can either see things as a coincidence or you can see things as connecting dots that others can't see. I have a bad day box where I put all like the nice letters or special things that people have sent me and photos of my younger self. And I go there when I'm having a bad day, and it kind of reminds me to take care of my younger self, to acknowledge the work that I've done for others in the world, because the world can feel really hard sometimes and we always need a bad day box. For the teenagers out there, whether it's a bad day album or a bad day box, create one because we all need it sometimes. Moments of darkness, the best thing you can do is find something, a place where you can give back to the world and show up. And you don't have to know anyone, but in my darkest moments, I would go volunteer at a children's hospital or go to a nursing home. And I wasn't there with anyone but myself. And because of that, I stepped out of my own story and lived in someone else's. And what that did was illuminate what I needed to understand about myself. And I think we live in a world of social media where it's me, didn't get enough likes. This person's mean to me. This person's getting into this college. This person's parents lets them have an iPhone. Silence the noise and be in service, period. That is the only thing that can get you through challenges and confusion. And even today, I try to live my life in service as a leader. And I think it's honestly an incredible coping mechanism. My number one role models, I mean, Oprah Winfrey is someone I watched growing up in Chicago and sent her letters. So she did the impossible as a woman of color, had her own show. The other hero in my life is Gloria Steinem. I feel really committed to bring forth her legacy. We have to study those before us, because the only reason I'm here right now and can vote, have my own bank account, is because of the woman that stood before us and the shoulders who we stand on. True change happens because we motivate ourselves.